Hello and welcome to Now, yes, hello and welcome to Odds Serie A Matchday 8. We have Napoli on top of the table after the international break, and we have two great games. Leo, we have Lazio and Roma Inter Milan.
Hello, Edu. Yes, absolutely. Especially that last one, the Roma Inter at the Olympics is one which I'm really looking forward for this weekend. Although, of course, in Turin, Juventus, Lazio is always a good one.
The leaders playing in Empoli, which shouldn't be an easy game for contest men. So, guys, remember to leave your comments. Of course, subscribe to our channel. Let's go on now with the show. And the first game is a clash between newly promoted teams like 𝐿𝐵𝐼 and Parma, but I expect a good show, Leo. Both are doing great things in this start of the season, and both are scoring plenty of goals. 5 out of 7 games for 𝐿𝐵𝐼 were both teams to score. 6 out of 7 for Parma were both teams to score. So it's my obvious market, this one.
Yes, absolutely. It's one to go. No, both teams to score or the goals over. Definitely is something to look on this 𝐿𝐵𝐼 and Parma. Actually, the last you mentioned 6 out of 7, and the last 4 consecutive games for 𝐿𝐵𝐼 were both teams to score. Yes, for Cesc Fabregas' team, which once again, Edu, Matchday 7. Despite the defeat at Napoli, they left a very good image. They were in the game for 60 minutes, which, of course, is not enough, especially against the team in form in Serie A. But it must be very encouraging, I believe, for Fabregas and for the players to see an opponent like Napoli who's going to fight for the 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐵𝐻. We believe, unable to find solutions against them for such long period of time within the game. Of course, the trouble for 𝐿𝐵𝐼 remains the same than in August, I would say, in a way. The defensive performance, Edu. I don't know whether it is down to them being a young squad or not being assertive enough to win when it comes to win duels, but those details are costing them points so far. With Napoli, you could argue it's all right, but it happened also with Cagliari and Bologna games that they should have won, games when they were not assertive enough in duels, and that cost them points. That cannot happen again with Parma, and especially playing at home. Very interesting after the match, Edu, that Fabregas showed his admiration for Stanislav Lobotka. He said players like him are the ones that win you games because they are very intelligent in the way they read the game and because they win duels. So basically, I had the feeling like he hinted at the type of player 𝐿𝐵𝐼 might be looking when the January market opens for them. Last season in Serie B, the match ended in a 1-1 draw. Simone Verdi scoring for 𝐿𝐵𝐼. Verdi, I believe, likely to start behind Cutrone. We will see Fabregas also shares the attack with Andrea Belotti from the very beginning with Cutrone. I can't think of someone happier than Nico Paz around the Lake Como after he made his international debut with Argentina. He played 15 minutes. He got praise from Messi and Scaloni. And Parma, on the other hand, will have to regain some level of confidence as well. Edu, they are more than 2 months without a win in a way, because since Matchday 2 against Milan, that they are winless in Serie A. At least on Matchday 7 was their first away game in the season in which they not conceded after the 0-0. 𝐿𝐵𝐼 is the favorite, and I agree with the bookies there, Edu. As we said, a lot of games, both teams to score yes on both sides. On those 4 last games for 𝐿𝐵𝐼, when both teams scored, 18 goals have been scored overall. So that's why I was between the both teams to score market or the goals over. I'm gonna be pointing to the goals over 2.5, odds of 2.1, Edu.
Fair enough. Konstantinos is telling us come to win or draw and over 1.5 goals, over goals. It looks like this in the first game in this match day. Next, we have Genoa Bologna. Genoa needed the break because they were coming from 3 consecutive defeats, plus the derby in Coppa Italia, plus 5-1 in the last game against Atalanta. But also Bologna, Leo, they need to win 5 draws. This season, only 1 win is too much. It's a team of Champions League this season.
Yes, absolutely. And I will start with Genoa, and they are living a nightmare, you really pointed out. But it's just not on the pitch. The thing with them is off the pitch as well. They're coming at the back of thrashing defeat with Atalanta, the 5-1. They have conceded 10 goals and scored just 1 in the last 3 Serie A match days. Only 1 win and a mere 5 points collected so far for Genoa. Then you have the situation with 77 Partners, the American holding company, which bought Genoa 3 years ago, which is facing a financial meltdown, and this could end in bankruptcy. So it's like serious times out of the pitch for Genoa. This company, 77 Partners, is the one that was close, or at least tried to buy Everton in the Premier League, until it was shown that they didn't have a single penny to do it. Of the 8 football clubs that 77 Partners hold at some point, they only 2 remain in their books: Genoa in the Serie A and Hertha Berlin. So sooner than later, Genoa will need to be sold, and in order to bring the price up of the club, they will need to start winning games. Things are so bad at the moment that Matteo Retegui, an ex-Genoa player, scored a hat-trick against them in that 5-1. Two Genoa were missing key players like Malinovsky, Milan Badel, but they struggle badly. Their mentality now is suffering, particularly Alberto Gilardino, their manager, was very critical of his players. He spoke of a team that surrendered after the second goal. The game is crucial also for Gilardino, I would say, for the manager. There was a speculation this week, that he could be replaced by Jorge Sampaoli, and I close my eyes.
Oh my God.
So apparently as well, the rumors that Gilardino asked for the club to sign as a free agent Super Mario Balotelli, who will come to the club with a very, very low wages, not even closer to 300,000 until the end of the season, which will be very low, of course, for in terms of what players are being paid in Serie A. Then Pierluigi Golini, the goalkeeper, undergoing surgery, not being able to play now on Matchday 8. And Bologna have their own struggles, although less critical, of course, than Genoa. Their biggest problem, you pointed out, Edu, is that they cannot win games, but at least they are not losing them. But 5 draws is just a bit too much. The last one against Parma at home, they played almost the entire second half with an extra player, because Parma saw a red card. From that point, they dominated possession, they created chances, but Santi Castro and Orsolini in particular as well couldn't find the back of the net. Look, Edu, Genoa have scored 5 goals in 7 games, and Bologna 7 in 7. So for me, if como before was goals over, in here is the goals under, the one I'm going to be pointing. My tip is goals under 2.25, which has also 1.78. So basically 1 goal or nothing, you win the bet. 2 goals, you lose half of your stake.
Konstantinos is also going for under, but a good option, Laszlo, is telling us Bologna is a handicap 0. Actually, this is also a good idea. If there is a draw, as usual for Bologna, you get your money back. Next game, Milan Udinese. Milan lost to Fiorentina 2-1 after the defeat also in the Champions League against Leverkusen. So the boost after the derby win is completely over. Now they have to rebuild again, and be careful. Udinese could be a dangerous team. They are doing great things this season. 2 defeats only against Inter and Roma. So it won't be easy for the Rossoneri.
It would be easy, but also at the same time at home, the last 2 games with Venezia, with Lecce, Milan show a different face. Edu, 8 goals scored on those 7 goals. I'm sorry, scored on those last 2 home games in Serie A, and Milan even decided those games before halftime. So that's why, even though, and I agree, of course, with the run of Udinese so far, which is very good, and despite Milan losing that 3-game winning streak in all competitions, I think that they should be on top on this game. With Fiorentina, anyway, Edu, it was another show of inconsistency from Milan this season. They are now 5 points behind Napoli. They have 0 points in the Champions League group. And moreover, I think if there is something to take from the defeat in Firenze, is the apparent lack of unity within the squad, and Paulo Fonseca's authority has been wounded as well, because he was openly challenged by his players, who disregarded his decision on the penalty taker. Let's remember, Milan missed 2 penalties on Matchday 7. The designated penalty taker for Milan and for Fonseca is Christian Pulisic. However, the first penalty they had with the game 0-0 was taken by Theo Hernandez and saved by De Gea. Was Theo Hernandez's birthday on that night, so I think he just tried to score or took the penalty from Pulisic, thinking on himself. And the issue of disobeying the manager for Theo Hernandez is bigger here, because he's the captain of the team. The second penalty with Milan already 1-0 behind was taken by Tammy Abraham, and it was more bizarre than the first one, because when the referee awarded the penalty to Milan, 𝐿𝐵𝐾𝐿 Tomori ran to take the ball, and he passes it straight away to his good friend, an ex-teammate in the academy in Chelsea. He gave the ball to Tammy Abraham and told Pulisic to stay away. So, to be honest, everything looked very bad for them. To make things even a little bit worse, Theo Hernandez was sent off after the final whistle for insulting the referee. Will now be out for 2 matches. He might be back against Napoli on match day 10. The reality is that Milan should have taken at least anyway a point, I would say, in Firenze, not least because of the penalties they missed, but also because they created a lot of chances. Luca Ranieri, for example, made a crucial save for Fiorentina on the line when Pulisic was about to score his second goal. But as I said, so far we have seen a different Milan at home, a more efficient Milan at home in San Siro, scoring 9 goals in the last 3 games. And Udinese, you said, in good form with 3 wins in the last 5, 5th in the table with 13 points. But in my view, still the favoritism, because the game is being played in San Siro, is on Milan's side. I'm hitting here with Milan to win plus goals over 2.5. This will take the odds higher, 2.23.
All right, Leo, and also on Saturday we have a great game. Lazio, both level on points, 13. Juve conceded the first goal of the season in Serie A. It was a big surprise. They couldn't beat Cagliari after that amazing win against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. And Lazio, they've started slowly the season, but work in progress, Leo. They are doing great. Pedro, again, scored a saver against Empoli. Still Pedro around scoring important goals. It looks like a player of another era.
Absolutely. Look, I have it in my notes, like the praise for Pedro, to be honest. It was good to see him having good moments again, scoring the winning goal to win 2-1 at home against Empoli, an Empoli which was without a defeat before arriving to the Olimpico on Matchday 7. Marco Baroni, the Lazio's manager, is facing a little bit of injury setbacks. Not as bad as Juventus. are going to go about that soon, but he's not going to have Matteo Guendouzi, who has been great for Lazio so far. He suffered a foot injury in the Nations League with France against Belgium. Against Empoli, also his side showed maturity and resilience, because they won it from behind, and they also missed a penalty when the game was 1-1. So very positive things to take lately from this Lazio. And Juve, Edu, to a degree, I open Milan and Udinese saying that Milan inconsistency this season is there to be seen. And I would say that to a different degree, Juve is also showing levels of inconsistency so far. Yes, the unbeaten run in Serie A continues, but 4 draws in 7 matches is excessive for them. Can you share points with Napoli and Roma? Yes, you can. Can you share points with Empoli? Well, with this season, Empoli, you would say you can share points, but can you share points and concede your first Serie A goal of the season against Cagliari and playing at home? I think we both know the answer there. They started Matchday 7 missing key players like Bremer, Nico Gonzalez because of injuries. Bremer's one will make him miss the rest of the season, and Juventus may need to look for a center back in January. Gazzetta dello Sport pointed maybe that Juve will go for Skriniar, who's not having or enjoying many minutes in PSG. There is a chance maybe of the Italo-Brazilian from Flamengo in the Brasileirao. Leo Ortiz also maybe replacing Bremer. They took an early lead with Dusan 𝗏𝗏𝗏 scoring his 5th goal of the season. 3rd consecutive match in all competition for Dusan 𝗏𝗏𝗏 scoring for Juve. They have chances to extend the lead. 𝗀𝗵𝐼, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 as well, but they had this inability, at least on the last game, to capitalize on those chances. They will be again, as I said, without Bremer, without Nico Gonzalez. 𝗀𝗵𝐼 is also out injured. Weston McKennie was released early or had to return early from the United States squad because he also had a muscle injury and is also likely to miss the match. So many players and important players missing the game for Thiago Motta. The bookies are placing Juventus as the favorite. I don't have many objections to that, although I believe it's closer than many expect, especially with these Juve's absentees. Lazio scored 14 goals so far. All their games have been both teams to score. I'm going this route here, Edu. Both teams to score, yes, odds of 1.95.
Really poor head-to-head or really poor visits to Torino for Lazio. They usually lose in the Juventus Stadium. And last year, remember, they played the Coppa semi-finals. Juventus won 2-0 at home and then lost 2-1 at the Olimpico. A very close game, a very electric game. So let's see if Lazio can get something from the Juventus Stadium, because, again, in the last years, is not a good trip for the Celeste. Next game on Sunday, Empoli. Napoli still top of the table. They struggle, they suffer, but they beat Como, and before that Monza, and last season they were struggling a lot at the Maradona, but this season they are winning at home. Away for Napoli so far, Leo, 1 win, 1 draw, and that 1 defeat in match day 1 in Verona. And you said playing Empoli is not as easy as it was last season. Only the first defeat came against Lazio, and they had to suffer a lot, Lazio, to beat Empoli.
Yes, and to be honest, this is a great way to start Sunday morning, this Empoli-Napoli, because it's true that Roma-Inter and Juve-Lazio take the headlights on Serie A Matchday 8, but this one, Empoli-Napoli, should be a very good one as well. Empoli suffering first defeat of the season, we mentioned before with Lazio. Roberto 𝗲𝗏𝗏 have been particularly strong defensively arriving to that game, because they arrived to the Olimpico with 3 consecutive clean sheets. But despite striking early in the game, they went up 0-1 in the Olimpico. Lazio managed to turn to run into dangerous spaces, into dangerous positions, very close to baskets many times, especially on the second half. Maybe I think Lazio equalizing just exactly before halftime was a key in the game. But then in the second half, yes, Lazio created the chances to win that game. And the chances that I saw Lazio creating is something that Empoli did not give away in the previous Serie A matches. Let's see how they're going to do it now against Napoli, top of the Serie A. There will be some familiar faces anyway on the game, because, for example, 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀, the Georgian right back, will be facing Kvaratskhelia. Another familiar faces will be that of 𝗲𝗏𝗏, again, the Empoli manager, and Antonio Conte, because Antonio Conte is the godfather of 𝗲𝗏𝗏's daughter, and they also go on holidays together. They know each other for a long time, since the days when Conte was managing Siena and 𝗲𝗏𝗀 was playing in Siena, so the relationship go long way back. Another familiar face for Conte will be Sebastiano Esposito, the 22-year-old striker playing for Empoli, who came through the ranks in Inter. He played under Conte also in the Nerazzurro. Esposito is having he's on loan from Inter, and he's having a very good start of the season. 3 goals and provided already 2 assists as well in 8 games, if we take into account as well the Coppa Italia win against Torino for Empoli. Napoli should still finish, I believe, Edu, Matchday 8, top of the Serie A. On Matchday 7, they scored almost from the dressing room with 𝐿𝐿𝐴 celebrating after 25 seconds. But as I said, they struggled for 60 minutes to create chances. I think that Conte made some tweaks at halftime, which were very important to turn the game around. But if there is something, apart from Lukaku, Kvaratskhelia, or Politano up front, that Napoli is showing great strength, is the midfield trio of Anguissa, 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗀, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏. This is early day, but this trio could compete for the best midfield of the season in the Serie A. Look, Edu, still Empoli, a very good start of the season, but for me here, it's Napoli to win 1.71. Sounds good.
Yeah, good odds. Actually, Amer is going for Napoli to win or draw. Napoli clean sheet and under. Eric is telling us, and on the other side, Marco is going for Napoli to win and over 1.5 goals. Empoli struggled last season a lot to score goals, but well, this season is not a high-scoring team. Empoli 6 goals score, 4 conceded. Also on Sunday, Lecce, Fiorentina, the Viola looking for the first win away this season, but finally they are getting wins at home and big wins against Milan, against Lazio. These are important teams. On the other hand, Leo, Lecce, only 5 points. The only win came at home against Cagliari, so the odds to back Fiorentina somehow are good, actually, 2.4.
Yeah, they're not bad. Another team with some inconsistency. Fiore, although they are coming with 7 points out of the last 9 to face Lecce, so they're in upward trajectory for Fiorentina. If Matchday 7 had a hero for Fiore, that was David De Gea. If Milan had problems with penalty takers, well, Fiorentina too, because the designated player in Fiorentina is Gudmundsson, but somehow Moise Kean was the one who took Fiore's penalty against Milan when the game was still also 0-0, and he missed it. He was saved by the Milan goalkeeper. Kean last week had to withdraw from the Azzurra with the back injury, but yesterday he was back in training. Then the Croatian center back Marin Pongracic is also someone who might not be ready to face his old team because of an injury. You mentioned, yes, Fiorentina haven't won the weight. Yes, they draw with Empoli, they drew with Parma, and they had a defeat with Atalanta, but they are favorites here, and I agree with that. For Lecce, they already show 4 defeats in the season. The last one away in Udine. They only scored 3 goals. That's the most damaging thing for Lecce so far in this Serie A, to have scored only 3 goals. They haven't scored in 5 out of 7 match days for them in Serie A. That's too much as well. I remember that before the draw against Torino away, Luca Gotti, the manager, spoke of his team training or doing a lot of finishing drills and working a lot in training or how to play in the final third. And against Torino, they created chances. Then the game after was with Parma, and they scored twice in that 2-2 draw. But in the last 2 games, they went. I saw like backward performances again, especially in attack for Lecce. So yes, good odds for Fiorentina to win. I will be a little bit more conservative in my approach anyway, because this inconsistency, we'll see how Fiorentina does away from home despite taking 7 points out of the last 9. That's why a little bit more conservative my approach. Draw, no bet. Fiorentina for me, 1.7, Edu.
And I agree, Leo. Fiorentina is so inconsistent in the last 2-3 years, actually. So it's very difficult to fully back them. And many people are talking about the same thing. Amer is saying, I would not touch Fiorentina. Banana skin game could be a draw. A double chance for the home team We saw it for 𝐻𝐿, and Eric is going for the same bet as you are going, Leo, for Fiorentina. Draw, no bet. Next game is going to be Venezia, Atalanta in the north of Italy. Atalanta, after a turmoil, after a difficult summer, a lot of changes. It looks like they are finding the pace and the form. You mentioned Retegi's hat trick to beat Genoa 5-1, but before in the Champions League they beat Shakhtar 3-0. So it looks like they are work in progress. Venezia, Leo, 4 points at the bottom of the table. I guess we should back Atalanta here.
Yes, absolutely. Venezia lost 4 of the last Serie A matches. We had an amazing Atalanta on Matchday 7 because they arrived as well with an injury crisis to the game, and they destroyed Genoa. The second half from Atalanta was one to put on a frame, so good that the 5th goal came with Martin de Roon volley. Actually, because of the injury crisis, Martin de Roon had to play right back against Genoa. After losing with Como at home, the draw away without convincing at Bologna in the last 2 matches. Now against Genoa, they show the attacking potential. They unleash their attacking potential. Gasperini acknowledged that when they are on form like that, like the way we have seen them playing against Genoa, Atalanta can do great things. I can only agree to that. With the thrashing of Genoa, Gasperini reached 900 points in Serie A in his managerial career. He joined the ranks of Allegri, Spalletti, Capello, Ancelotti. They asked him about that and said that compared to them, he's missing a few more Scudetti. It's true if you compare Gasperini to the likes of Ancelotti or Capello, but it's true that those 900 points for Gasperini has been done especially or mostly with Genoa and Atalanta. So hats off for him. Retegui with his hat-trick has 7 goals in 7 games so far. Last season, he scored 11 goals all over for Genoa. So he should be reaching 20 plus goals this season at this rate. He scored also now against Israel from the penalty spot in the Nations League for the Azzurra. The Gasperini was full of praise for him, but not just with him. Atalanta has 10 new players this season, and it was crucial for them to start making an impact. Of course, Retegui is the most striking one, but other players are doing well lately as well for Atalanta. Let's remember they were coming at the back of a 3-0 win away in Champions League against Shakhtar. So yes, here, of course, Atalanta the favorite. I will be looking at the Asian handicap market. Atalanta Asian handicap -1, 2.1.
Also, Aaron is going for Atalanta, the better team, 1-3 in his opinion. Atalanta to win over 2.575 goals. Atalanta to win and over 1.5. So everyone is trusting Atalanta. Yeah. Everyone is trusting Gasperini. Next one, Cagliari. Torino. Cagliari out of the relegation spots after the draw with Juventus and the win in Parma, but at home they are the worst team so far in Serie A. Only 2 points. Torino lost to Inter and lost to Lazio, and also even in Coppa Italia, Leo, so they are not great, but it's a high scoring team, and they are doing, I would say, a good start of the season.
Yes, and they are, look, the odds are quite good, impressively good there for Torino, 2.63 for an away win. At the same time, to be honest, 2 match days ago, for me, it was impossible to see the odds we have for Cagliari today, to the point where there is almost parity for the bookies. 2 wins and a draw in the last 3 in all competitions. They took a point in Turin when 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗀 scored after 15 minutes. To be honest, I thought that we were hitting there for a route, but far from that. Juventus had their chances, of course, I mentioned before, but in general, Cagliari played with personality and order. They were right in feeling maybe aggravated in the penalty they gave to Juventus. Davide Nicola was spot on, I believe, the manager, with his complaint in the use of the VAR. In those situations when someone heads the ball and the ball touches the hand of the defender who is giving his back to the player attacking the ball. Because if you are contesting an aerial duel with Gatti or with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗀, of course you are going to use your hands to prop yourself up. But once the attacker heads it, you cannot cut your hands. So you're not intentionally increasing your body size. So I understand why Davide Nicola was quite upset with the penalty they gave to Juve. The other controversy was added by Jerry Mina, who made a gesture towards the Juventus fans after the equalizer, because he was in his mind thinking that Juve treated badly Juan Cuadrado, his very good Colombian friend, so he needs to show a point. But now comes Torino, as you said, for this Cagliari. They need a win, 3 consecutive defeats for them. When we had the one with Empoli in Coppa Italia, they are traveling to Sardinia without Duban Zapata, who suffered a knee injury and has been ruled out for the rest of the season. Without their captain, they will need the fighting spirit anyway they show in San Siro in the defeat with Inter 3-2 on Matchday 7, because they were down to 10 men after 20 minutes with the Chilean Guillermo Maripan saw a red card. Duban managed to score before getting injured, which was a traumatic moment, I believe, for many of his teammates. And then in the second half, Torino continued to be competitive. So in personality, I personally believe that the odds on Torino are really good. And despite this good draw from that Cagliari took away in Turin, Torino to win 2.63, too good for me to leave it away.
Let's see. This is a bit difficult game. Handicap 0 for Torino. Eric is telling us double chance for football prediction for the away team, but Cagliari should get better at home. Let's see if they wake up. Another team that should get better is Roma. Very poor season so far. Change of manager. I wouldn't say the new manager is doing great things. Also, I have to say that they are a bit unlucky. Probably if we check the expected goals, they are scoring way less goals than they should, but at least 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 is scoring finally. He misses some chances, but he's scoring. Even in the Europa League, they lost to Elfsborg. They drew with Monza, a game that they should have won. And now is the final test. Leo, we can check in the odds that Roma are the super underdog. Inter 1.9 favorite after the hat-trick scored by Thuram against Torino. Also beat Udinese. And we saw Lautaro also with the Argentinian national team in the score sheet.
Yes, absolutely, Edu, and this should be a great game. Look, and to be honest, you see how turbulent still things are in Roma after the dismissal, after they fired Daniele De Rossi, is that this week, Ivan Juric had to answer questions about his job security. So that tells you quite a lot. There is a protest which from the Roma Ultras, who's going to be, we're going to hear it and see it on the Olimpico during the game against Inter as well. As always, with Paulo Dybala is something day to day for Roma, if he's going to play or not. There is hope that he will recover on time from another muscular injury. He missed the match with Monza and did not travel with Argentina, opting out of international duty. So he has been focusing especially on his individual training before heading to this game. I believe the best piece of news in the last few weeks for Roma is that finally Artem Djovic has discovered his goal scoring form. Another one against Monza. But now comes Inter. The Inter that had Marcus Thuram scoring a hat-trick against Torino. Lautaro celebrating and having a good game against Bolivia with Argentina. Despite the 3-2 anyway on Matchday 7, Inzaghi was upset about some defensive lapses of his players in a game where they play with an extra man for 70 minutes. Inter suffered a few scares, and that's something that Inzaghi did not like at all. When he was asked to address the difference in the defensive performance between the league, between the Serie A and the Champions League matches, Inzaghi mentioned the continual rotation as the reason, but that they need to do that because of the amount of matches out there to be played. However, despite the rotation of players, there is a trio that is being used more consistently, and that is the one of Bastoni, Calhanoglu, and Mkhitaryan. The odds are good on Inter to win. Last time at the Olimpico, we had Inter winning 4-2. I'm taking the goal markets route here, Edu, because even yes, Inter can go take the 3 points, but Roma, we know, will score more likely than not, and especially at home. So goals over 2.5, odds of 1.74.
Only one win for the Giallorossi in the last 7 years, and was away. So Inter are good when they travel to the Olimpico to face Roma, even if usually or historically Roma are very good when they play at home. Football prediction is going for corners, Marco Pol for double chance, and both teams to score. Could be a good idea. And Amer thinks Inter will drop points here. He thinks it could be a draw. Aaron going for both teams to score with Inter winning. Again, it should be a high-scoring game. And for Monday, we have Verona. Monza, Verona 9 points with Venezia coming from behind. One of these teams with no draws yet, and last 4 games were both teams to score. And we have Monza, one of these teams, or the only team actually with no wins yet in Serie A, but away got a couple of draws against Fiorentina and Empoli, Leo.
Yeah, look, it looks like Verona has no grace so far. With those 3 wins and 4 defeats and no draw so far. The last one on Matchday 7, Edu, was a special one because it was a derby and they won it from behind and 3 minutes before the end of the match. So it's super special for Verona. They're scoring good numbers, 12 goals so far, which is 2 more, for example, than Juve that Verona has scored, and 2 less than Napoli. But they're conceding a lot as well. 12 goals conceded, which is the same than Venezia, who is bottom. This said, should not be a Monza team to give them too many headaches in attack anyway. 5 goal scores in 7 matches for Monza. So they remain. Actually, Monza remained on the news during the international break only because Davide Maldini made his debut with Italy to make it 3 generations of Maldinis in the national team. In terms of goals, I believe we are heading to an under one in this one, Edu. It could be even a pass at some point, this Verona Monza. But as a goals under market, which I imagine, I will be pointing to a first half 𝐭𝐴𝐺 game, which I believe we could have in this Verona Monza. So I will be heading to first half draw, also of 2.1.
Okay, Leo, this is the game we have on Monday. Remember that we are now on Discord, so it's a new platform where we can find the Oddspedia. We are kind of everywhere right now. And also remember that you've been doing your predictions. You can still participate in our yearly or monthly competitions. Just post your tips. And if you are also a fan of the Premier League, we have a tipster competition for Premier League fans, even another one for NFL, and still you can participate with your Serie A predictions in our contest, a monthly or yearly contest. Leo, let's finish the video. Let's go with your safe bet. You are muted, Leo. No, still muted. Press the button. Press the button. Or maybe you touch some cable, but we cannot hear you at all. I think
now, yes.
Now you are, Leo.
Because
no problem.
I was looking at my mic. My mic was all right. Yes.
It's always the button. Let's finish the video. Safe bet.
Safe bet. Absolutely. Milan Asian handicap minus 0.5, odds of 1.4.
And the ACCA?
The ACCA includes this safe bet plus Napoli to win and also goals over 2.5 in Roma Inter. That leaves me with an ACCA of 4.14.
There you go, guys, Serie A fans. These are Leo's predictions. We will see each other next week. Enjoy Serie A, enjoy Italy, and if it's with a pizza, even better. Bye-bye, Leo. Ciao, ciao.